Emma, thank you so much for your time. It's
Thank you.
always great to speak to people, but of course, on this momentous occasion, even better. And but now that we are allowed to talk about things, let's talk about things. um, Darby is such an interesting character to me because, of course, any good character is not going to have just one stale piece of their background that creates who they are. But there's so much of the story of Emma and Bill that kind of sets that up. But I'm wondering about the other smaller things. Did you go back and to piece together all the little other hints that are in there for the character to kind of help create what Darby ended up becoming?
Yeah, I think it was such a good question because that was a huge part of the sort of the character development process for me. And I feel like I was really served by Brit writing because the all the flashbacks are so rich and young Darby is such a character in herself that it really informed the older Darby. And that was really good, especially shooting when we shot obviously out of order. It was I always had something to sort of like hold on to. And I think also the difference between younger Darby and older Darby in terms of energy, jadedness is so interesting and so clear that that really helped. But then, yeah, I think a lot of the relationship with her father I found really interesting to explore. The absence of her mother, which the series doesn't go into, but leaves a lot of nice,
Mm-hmm.
unanswered questions, um, is really fascinating. And also the absence of a mother and the fascination with lost, unnamed women. And I think there was a lot of complexity there that I really enjoyed exploring.
But in the same breath, too. So again, obviously shot out everything, and for the most part, shot out of order. Did you shoot young Darby first or older Darby later? First.
Older older Derby first, mainly. There were one or two things that we shot, maybe actually just two scenes from the flashbacks that we shot in stages, and then all the rest of it we did at the very end of the shoot, um, with a smaller crew, and we all went to Utah for 3 weeks and just did the all of the flashback stuff, which really gave it this sort of euphoric sort of schools out holiday energy. And it was just stunningly beautiful. And we'd all been in these like studios, albeit in an incredible set, but dark studios in like the thickness of New York summer for about 4 or 5 months. And so to be outside shooting on the road in Utah, which the landscape is just so stunning. It was incredible. It infused it with this energy that I feel young Darby really has, and maybe older Darby sort of fights against because of
I
what's
mean,
happened to her, and that was great.
even though it's inconsequential in many ways, also, I guess, I mean, again, I know you're not stuck out in freezing temperatures, but since you're in these colder atmospheres for all that beginning, too, there's, even though there's a lot going on, there's that warmth that comes out for when you're shooting those younger sections.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're so right. It weirdly does completely match up to like temperature. Young Darby has that warmth, and older Darby has been through so much that she has that sort of maybe, yeah, coldness. It's interesting.
Of course, there's all things that are given to you via script or whether it's your own knowledge, which means you go back into it. But do you feel that you also have to go look into, you know, the idea of what it really is to be a real world hacker or terminology and stuff like that?
I was quite daunted by that task because I have no real background in anything like that. But Brit and Zal were really helpful, and I actually had I had a sort of hacking tutorial session like afternoon with their friend Moxie, who started Signal. He made the app Signal, and I think was one of a huge innovator in encryption, end-to-end encryption, um, and working to sort of like shore up privacy in that kind of environment. And that was so interesting. And I was like really doing the basics, which was hilarious. But I managed to, I think, by the end of the afternoon, code my own website or something. When you do I don't know.
I mean, I
But
have
no,
no
by
idea.
no means was I good at it. It was purely acting. Yeah.
Emma, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful speaking with you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.